Hello everyone, welcome to Web Dev Mentor's YouTube channel. This video is about getting an introduction to Bootstrap. So before I start explaining about Bootstrap, so for people who already know enough information about Bootstrap and have already downloaded it for your website and also have an ID to work on it, you can skip this video. This is going to be an introduction video on what is Bootstrap, how it can be useful, and where you can get it from, and also about the IDE that you can use. So let's get started. Bootstrap is a framework, so that's how you have to say it. Bootstrap is a framework that you can use it on your website to make it responsive for mobile devices like mobile phone, tablets, phablets, and every other devices. So how it is done? So for example, if you're having a website, you have developed it for a desktop and you are viewing it in a mobile phone. So what happens is that the screen size of the mobile phone is smaller, so the website that you have seen in desktop won't be fitting into it, and you have to zoom in, zoom out, scroll it, or else like swipe your screen in order to see various parts of the mobile website. That is going to be a big problem for people and they don't like it. So if you're having traffic from mobile devices, I recommend you to go for some framework that supports responsive build-up. So Bootstrap is one example that is nowadays used, and Bootstrap is a Twitter-made framework. So Twitter Bootstrap is very helpful for people to create, develop, and design websites that are responsive in mobile devices. So let's get on to Bootstrap, an introduction about it. So this is the website of Bootstrap, getbootstrap.com. This is where you're going to get the Bootstrap files that you can use in your website and make it responsive. So that is going to be a big task. So let's say what Bootstrap is from their website. So as it suggests, Bootstrap is the most popular front-end framework for developing responsive mobile-first projects on the web. So what it says is that it's a framework for developing responsive mobile first. What it means is it gives more importance to the mobile version of the website. So it gives you a framework that can convert your website to look good in a mobile phone. So it can change your website that is looking good in desktop also look good in mobile phone. So it converts the content, it reduces it so that it can fit in the mobile device's screen. So this is going to increase your traffic and also make sure that the traffic that you're getting from the mobile devices still use your website. So there's a lot of people, they're converting their website into responsive websites so that they don't want to lose a lot of traffic. And of course these days people rarely use their mobile devices in order to do it. So let's get into it. The next part of it, Bootstrap is designed for everyone everywhere. That's it. That clearly states you. And we're having a framework that fits for every devices, like a small tablet, phone, or else a laptop, a desktop, or else even a high definition screen. And then Bootstrap also has components that you can use in your website. They have a built-in ready-made components that you can use in your website to make it look good. So they're also having a doc for referencing it, so you would be using the docs for various purposes in Bootstrap, and I'll give you a brief introduction of how to use those documents that makes your life easy using Bootstrap. Bootstrap gives you very simple and easy to use documents. So let's first go to download section of Bootstrap. You can get it from getbootstrap.com. Press the download button. It also has a styling that's good look, and we have three options. You can download the minified version of Bootstrap and the source code and the SAS. So what is minified? You can download it in here, and it has a compiled and minified CSS, JavaScript, and fonts. So what is minified? Minified is the reduced version of the JavaScript, fonts, and CSS that you can find in Bootstrap. So what it means is that it creates a minified version that is reduced in size compared to the main version. So this minified Bootstrap download will also have the parent version and also minified version of the CSS, JavaScript. We'll be getting through those files after downloading them. And the next thing is the source code that actually has the documents and also the source of all those files. So it'll be clearly having all those codes and sources of these Bootstrap. And the next thing is SAS. We don't want to get into it at the moment because these are something that advanced people do. I'll be getting to it at the later part of the Bootstrap courses so you can understand it. So getting it to now is something that makes you difficult. So the next thing is the Bootstrap CDN, Content Delivery Network, which gives you an option that you can use them in your website without keeping those files in your server. You can put these codes into your website. It automatically gets it from the Bootstrap CDN link and makes your website a Bootstrap enabled website. And the next thing is that Bower, all those things that we don't have to look into it at this moment. That is something that is not necessary for us now. There's a lot of things that you have to go through in Bootstrap than this. So Bower are all those things that you can use in Linux distributions, but right now we don't need to get into it because I don't want to confuse you people with all those informations. Let's first download this minified version of the Bootstrap. It gives you a archive file, zip file. That is the Bootstrap 3.1.1 distribution. It has the files and everything that is needed for the Bootstrap will be there. Let's go to the IDE. IDE at the moment I've selected Sublime Text. It's for Windows. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to download a Sublime Text. I'm using Sublime Text because it's simple, sleek, and also a little bit lightweight. You can use any IDE that you like or want to use, because if you're already using an IDE for web development, please stick to it because things make easy. Bootstrap is to make your work easy. So if you're using IDE that you like and feel comfortable with, just use it, no problem at all. And I'm just going to use it because I've already used it on my Mac machine, so I find it easy. I already downloaded it and I've installed it in my system, so I won't be doing it, but you can install it. It is also available for other platforms, OS X, Windows 64-bit. You have to download it if you are having a 64-bit so that it can be smooth. And there are also Linux distributions, 32-bit and 64-bit. So people who are using a Linux distribution, you can use it. So at the moment I'm downloading Sublime Text 2. There is a beta version, Sublime Text 3. So I'm not going to use that because it's a beta. Every time you use a production server development, never go for beta versions of any softwares or tools in web development. It's safe with the stable versions. Sublime Text 2 is stable. Also, if you're using some other IDE, stick with stable versions if you're doing it for production server. Also, there's a lot of things that might happen if you're using beta, because beta might be different. So let's see what is there in the archive file of Bootstrap 3.1.1 distribution. So we have 3 folders in here: CSS, fonts, and JS. CSS has these CSS files of the Bootstrap. It has a parent file that is bootstrap.css, and then the minified version that is bootstrap.me and CSS. You might have already seen these kind of minified versions of jQuery if you have already used it, or else get an introduction. Minified just reduces the file size by removing the white spaces and all other unwanted areas. No comments, nothing at all. You'll be having pure codes that you can use it on the website. This is done to make sure that your website loads faster, and it gives you a better rating. So there's a difference of around 30,000. That is actually bytes. So it gives you a clear information of how much there's a difference. So these differences makes a lot when you have a lot of traffic, and it might look small when you have this on your system, but when it gets onto your server and there's a huge number of people using it, it is a big change. And there's a fonts folder which contains all those fonts in order to use Bootstrap, and we won't be getting through it detailedly because this is the font that you're going to use. And the next thing is the JavaScript folder. You'll be having bootstrap.js and the minified version of that bootstrap.js. So this gives you the functions that are available in Bootstrap and the JavaScript. You can reference those in JavaScript section of Bootstrap documents. We'll be getting through it in the later part of the series, and you can also create a lot of JavaScript files that can look good in your website. So we're going to extract this files to the folder that we're going to work with. We're going to, at the moment, I have created a folder for Web Dev Mentors, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to extract it. We'll create another folder that calls it as Bootstrap. So I'm going to put it in the Bootstrap folder. It makes easy, and it's been extracted. So this is actually the part that we're going to cover today. I'm not going to give you any kind of code today. We're just going to see what is going to happen and why we're going to use it and what we're going to use it. We got the files, we got it extracted on the system, we got the IDE that we're going to work with. So IDEs matters a lot because you're developing a website that is having a good amount of codes. So we start with small things, but over a period of time you would be having a website that has a lot of codes. So without an IDE it would be very difficult. If you're not going to use an IDE and you're going to stick with Notepad, it's very difficult to do something like coding without an IDE, and you're starting with it. Don't do it without an IDE. So HTML is a simple language, a relatively simple, very easy, sleek language that you can easily learn. You don't have to do a lot of things, and this series is not going to force you or make you to learn it first. We're not going to give you a restriction that you have to learn HTML or CSS before getting through this series. We're going to get through each and every code so that you can understand each and everything. So it's not going to be surprising you that you can even learn HTML and CSS using this series itself. But if you need some kind of an experience so that you can follow along these videos at a very fast rate, you can go to websites that gives you good reference on HTML and CSS. Well, W3 Schools is one good website that you can learn HTML and CSS. So HTML is not going to be very tough for you to learn. It's very simple, very easy. You just can learn it in a couple of days because it has tags. Tags matters everything. HTML starts with an HTML and ends with an HTML. That's easy. It's going to be easy for you. Always easy. Web development is very easy, but there's a lot of things in web development that you have to learn, and it's just not about HTML and CSS. HTML and CSS is just the starting part of web development. There's a huge learning curve in web development that you have to go through in order to get a successful career in web development. Of course, people do freelancing stuffs in web development. That's difficult, but it's not that difficult. You can earn a lot if you get settled in it. And of course, I'm not going to give you a heartbreak or something kind of a bad impression about the web development. If you are good at it, you definitely find someone who can give you work and earn from it. Internet is some place where you can get works for web developers always. So designing, web development, and a little more than web development, that's it. You're settled. And this Bootstrap can do a lot for your website or anything that you do in web. So it makes your website look good in all devices. So if you cover a lot of traffic in various devices, that means going to get a lot of traffic. So that's going to be a good advantage. And there's a lot of things that you can cover, but I'm not going to give you a big video that is going to be very difficult for you to understand or keep it in your mind. It's going to be very simple. We'll be having videos up to the max of 15 minutes. Not going to be a big video that you find it difficult to understand or keep it in your mind. Every time the video ends, that means that you have to go back to your system or PC or laptop or any device that you're working on. Work on what we have taught you. Get some reference files, or get some reference websites. Read it. Do it and see it how it is. If you have some problems, that's not going to be a big issue at all. You start with errors. That's the biggest thing that you learn from, and always do what you learn, and it will be getting into your brain. So if you have any kind of issues or comments or anything that you want to say to us, you can use the comment section in our video, or you can comment or post it on your Facebook or Twitter handle. We've given those links in the video descriptions. You can follow us in our Twitter handle and also like our page. You'll be getting the links. Of course, if there is any kind of reference links that has to be posted for this video, we have reference any video or any link in our video. We'll be posting the link for that in our video description, so don't forget to look into that. And also, if you like this video, as always, everyone says this, subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Please follow along the series and learn Bootstrap. Thanks.